Hello, everyone. Welcome to another fine edition of the Post Credit Show. I'm your host, Ronnie Williams.
And I'm Geneva.
Hey, Geneva, how you been doing?
Pretty good. How about you?
I'm great.
All right.
I saw a pretty good movie and another fun movie, and we're going to talk about them today.
All right.
For those of you just joining us for the first time, Post Credit Show, we're all about interactivity. So if you have a thought about a movie, even if it's not a movie we're covering, we're going to talk about it a bit.
Of course.
But we like to focus in on a couple movies each week, and we saw 1917, a war film set during World War One, and Like a Boss, a Tiffany Haddish comedy.
And Underwater. We're not going to talk about it. It's that terrible.
Well, we could say how soon people should see it. That's how we do our rating system here. So before we get into spoilers, we say how soon should people see something. So quickly, Underwater, how soon should people see Underwater?
After you say the words Underwater, it's terrible. So no, don't go see it. Save your money.
Not even if it's playing on cable.
I would get angry if someone approached me with a bootleg copy and said, buy this movie.
Okay, so
That's terrible.
maybe read a book instead?
I agree.
Okay. How about Like a Boss? How soon should people see Like a Boss?
I would say as soon as you can. Something for a good time, a good laugh, or a girls' night out, or if you guys like want to do makeovers, come over, have dinner and a movie. I definitely say as soon as possible.
So I say if you like comedies, female-led comedies, do try to catch in theaters. If it's not your forte, you can wait a little bit, catch it on cable, rent it.
I agree. It's a good movie, good comedy.
Right. But it was a lot of fun to watch. I'm glad we did watch and cover it. How about 1917?
Oh, you should have seen that already. I would say it is beautiful.
Yeah.
I'll let you start. It was wow.
Yeah,
It was wow.
the cinematography, like it checks so many boxes. Like I want to compare it to like huger films like Lord of the Rings, which is a fair comparison, I feel, and Mad Max Fury Road. Just like the way it looks and just like the pacing and just an astounding film. I've seen it 3 times in theaters already. I might see it again. I mean, So yeah, I'd say see it today is my rating.
It's that good. And another thing, the reason why I like the movie so much is because they really went there in making you feel as if you were on that field, that you were out on battle. You were trying to do the objective, because we're not spoiling it. Do the objective of what's his face was doing.
Right. Well, it's not so much a spoiler. It's the premise of the film. They have to warn this British company that, the Germans are setting up a trap for them. They shouldn't attack.
Yeah.
And one of the main dude's brothers is there too. So he has to save the lives of 1,600 men.
1,600, yeah.
And also his brother. Hearts and Noble 2.0 said, is it true that 1917 was shot in one take?
I'm gonna say maybe yes, because what I learned is anytime they panned the camera like left or right, anytime they panned it, you kind of got really, really dizzy. Like it was really strange. I thought it was for the effect of like the bombs going off and the shooting, and no, that's where they hid the cuts. It was amazing.
They do cheat it, like they can't do it all in one take because of the nature of the effects and like some of the acting things. So sometimes you can tell, this is where they hit a cut. But yes, it feels like one take.
Yeah.
And it totally works. It makes it suspenseful and it makes you feel like you're in the movie.
Oh, hands down, like that mud. Oh my goodness, I could taste it. It was just it was like, wow, I've done that in boots stuck on my dirt bike somewhere. Like, wow, it was insane. It was insane.
Do you want to dive into the movie, break it down?
Yeah, sure.
All right, so we're going to jump into
spoil.
spoilers.
I like spoiling
Gwen
things.
Williams said, I love the movie 1917. I felt I was right there in the movie.
Yes.
Totally agree with you there, Gwen. Just by having the camera constantly going, like it's an old technique doing a long take in a movie because it builds up the suspense. Like even if you don't catch it, like you feel it, you know?
You were definitely there. And I think if that's what they were going for, to get you like in the mood, you're in this war with them. It's 1917. Oh, and the replicas. Oh my goodness, everything about it. And if you're into antiquities, you're going to be very, very impressed with the movie as well. Even with the replicas, like wow,
Yeah.
it was just wow.
Yeah, the costuming, props, all hit their marks. Polos asks a good question. How is it compared to Hacksaw Ridge? Did you catch that movie, Hacksaw Ridge?
No.
Directed by Mel Gibson, starring Andrew Garfield, and it's about this combat medic. He completely refuses to handle a gun, even though he signed up for the military.
Is that from Vietnam?
Yeah,
I know the story, but I don't know the movie.
right. And so the movie, the first half of it, is him going through training, and he's like, "Hey, I'm not gonna shoot a gun. I'm just gonna be a medic. Why do I need to?" And I think it's Vince Vaughn is like his commanding drill sergeant. He does a great job as
Oh, wow.
the mean drill sergeant. He's a little snarky because it's Vince Vaughn, but he's like, no, you have to pick up a gun. So he ends up in a military jail. And yeah, so he has to fight in court to, so he doesn't get court-martialed or...
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's this whole fight just to get to the field. And then Hacksaw Ridge, it's like above this cliff. Like, it looks like an alien landscape because it's been bombed so much. Like, it's just amazing. And then he saves the lives of so many soldiers that day. And it's based on a true story. So that final part of the movie definitely feels like 1917. Hacksaw Ridge, though, the training period, though, like, it gets a little long, not enough action up front, like, lots of drama, pacing, I would say, is the determinant of Hacksaw Ridge. Gwen Williams said, I loved Hacksaw Ridge, too. Hard to compare. They're both great to me.
Okay, I'll
So-
make that an assignment to see Hacksaw Ridge now. I've never seen
I
it.
would see it. Yeah, like I think it largely got moved aside because of Mel Gibson directed, but I think he's paid his time, and it's a fine film.
Yeah.
A lot of people work on films, but what I like about 1917 is just the pacing. Like you'll have like softer scenes and then action scenes. And
Oh, it felt like I was there.
yeah.
Yeah, I look forward to the movie because being my mom's side of the family coming to the country here, fleeing from World War One and then World War Two.
Wow.
I that's why I was kind of interested to see like where it fell on the timeline, and just like again, it was like you were there when they did the tripwire. I'm proud I didn't yell out, "They're not checking for traps." And when the tripwire went off and all that, I guess it was the ceiling and the
Yeah,
walls fell in on him, you really felt like you were right there. It was the same thing when he after he met the French woman with the baby and he fell down into the river. It was like you were in that water with him. Like
Yeah.
it was unbelievable. Even when he got stabbed, it was like, wow.
Yeah, the movie's so intimate in the way they frame everything. I mean, it's just a feat the way, because you're constantly with the action, and
And Gwen's asking a question. Was it based? Yes, it was based on a real story,
Yeah.
which makes it even more remarkable. One of the things, speaking of it in the historic context, was I really liked how they threw in the Sikh soldiers as well as the African soldiers that were fighting for the British during that time. And they were just not like our military. They were down in there doing it, they were doing
Right.
their jobs. So coming from military on my dad's side and beating minorities, I thought that was just amazing to see. So they really went above and beyond with this film, in my opinion.
yeah, yeah.
And I don't know any of the actors. Are you familiar with any of the actors?
So I'm pulling them up right now. So the two leads, Lance Corporal Blake, who has the brother that he's trying to save. Let me see, what else is he in? Oh no way, he was in Game of Thrones for a little bit.
What character was he in Game of Thrones?
He was Timon Baratheon.
Oh my goodness!
So yeah, he was the young brother kid that takes over the throne eventually. Wow, that's totally him. He put on.
Wow.
I wonder if he put on weight for this movie.
Yeah, he may have. He may have, or just puberty.
Yeah. So yeah, Blinded by the Light, Into the Badlands, The King. But wow, yeah, he was totally in Game of Thrones, and yeah. So, and he totally plays the role like they set it up so you know that he's the more green of the two soldiers.
Yet he did a really great job, and it was like you were there, like he was talking to you. Like I said, it was just, I'm so impressed with this film. I hope that with this film being so good, it makes people want to research a little more of World War I and how it all started in my mom's country of Serbia. You know, they assassinated Ferdinand, and it just went from there. You know, after he was killed, it's the Austrian-Hungarian area, if I'm saying that correctly. All this power came up, and all this stuff came up, and no one was in control of it. So now it was like the fight. And it's neat because it also shows you how Germany was just dominating.
Right.
And even while all that was going on, Germany was already setting up for what they were doing with World War II. So I recommend this for high schools and junior highs to like show the kids like, hey, this is what happened.
Yeah,
you know?
this would be a good window into World War I. Like it's funny how little it's taught. Like I don't remember covering
Japan
it.
just learned. They just started teaching about World War II in their schools.
No kidding.
They just started learning about it.
Huh.
I saw a documentary on it. They had no idea. And you're like, oh, we heard of it, but nothing really.
Yeah, it's interesting what folks do with their history. Like I know in Germany, you can't have swastikas anywhere.
They try. But
Right.
you will get in a lot of trouble for it.
Oh,
and that's
yeah.
just because, you know, whole World War II and all. And
Right.
So,
I was listening to an interview with someone who does like a journalist who does really in-depth dives, and she got all these Nazi journals, and she was just carrying around her package. She's like, oh shoot, if they check my bag, it has swastikas all over
oh,
it.
yeah, she would have been in prison. They would ask questions. Who do you work for?
I mean, she had a couple of her books with her, so if it did come to that, maybe she could talk her way out of it. But yeah, she totally forgot. Oh man, it's totally marked up with everything.
It was like me when I was moving in with my ex-wife.
Okay.
I have all these collectibles, from my, because you wouldn't remember things. So I have a lot of World War II things, a lot of African Americana.
Oh, okay.
And I told her to keep the speed limit because if you get pulled over,
Oh.
I was like, there's a lot of stuff in there.
Right.
Like, what? I'm like,
Hard to explain.
yeah, it would have been really hard. Stamps, Hitler Youth flags, this, and then I had the
Oh,
Jim
my.
Crow stuff, and it just would not went.
Yeah, I
But
could
it's history.
imagine
It's history, so it's good
Right.
to hold on to that. I
Right.
believe.
But back to the movie. Starts off, they're just lounging about, and the guy, sergeant or whatever, it's like, just pick a man, come with me. And so he picks his buddy, of course, not knowing that he just drafted him to this somewhat dangerous mission. Like, they don't know how dangerous. Like, the intel is that they've moved out. But what's great about this movie is every time before, like, they go into a new area, they set up, oh, it's still dangerous, Like, before they go into no man's land to the German front, they keep mentioning, hey, we just got bombed 2 nights ago. They're still clearing the dead bodies. So yeah, like every single scene, they set up the suspense.
Actually, even in the very beginning of the movie, when they start walking, like they walk for, it felt like 10, 15 minutes in the movie. They're just walking through the trenches, and you're
Yeah.
like right there with them, and they're just walking, and it felt like forever. And I was like, wow.
I mean,
In a good way, forever. Like,
well, yeah, like I could see someone with a shorter attention span who, You know, I would love to know from a younger folks tuning in, like, would this movie bore you? You know, comment at us. You know, because it seems like nothing's happening. For stretches of time, but really, there's just constant motion, though.
Yeah, I thought they were doing that to like really again take you in there. Like this
Yeah.
is how far they really had to walk. So if this is
Right.
really happening, this is really going on.
And like, even if like it seems like they're pausing, they're always doing something. Like they're just like getting a breather after narrowly escaping death.
Yeah.
And like, they're pouring water in their eyes. He's taking out a flare. They're always motion in the film.
Always.
Very fluid. Gwen asked us a good question. Do you think it should get the Oscar this year?
Oh, absolutely.
it's
absolutely.
It's kind of a slam dunk.
I'm gonna say absolutely.
I mean, I don't see how it couldn't win cinematography. I mean, that's like the beyond slam dunk. The only thing that might upset it is Parasite, but seeing as it's a foreign film, I think 1917 will have the
Didn't
slight
they
edge.
win? They won awards already because it was released over in Europe before it was here, if I read that correctly.
I don't know. Parasite won a big award in Cannes,
Okay.
the Cannes Film Festival. Parasite is a great film if you haven't caught it yet.
No. I saw Underwater. I should have seen Parasite.
But Parasite, probably best screenwriting,
oh, okay.
definitely. But cinematography, director, I think would be a cinch, and best picture for 1917. I don't think it's gonna get any acting awards.
See, I don't know because I would say yes. I would say
it should. I was going through the nominations the other day. I don't think it even got nominated.
Oh, wow. Because even George McKay's character, like I said, when he fell, for those of you that saw it, when he fell in that water for a split second, you feel like you're in that water with him. Even after the first German starts shooting at him, it was just, wow. Even the French woman with the baby, and she has her little mat thing with the candles burning.
Right.
It was just.
Well, that's the thing. It is well acted, but it's not like, in your face acting, overacting. Like, it's not a character driven, even though it is. Like, that's the odd thing. Like, it totally could, but like I'm looking at the list of actors in a leading role. You got Antonio Banderas, Leonardo DiCaprio for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Adam Driver, and Marriage Story. I haven't seen Marriage Story yet, but I everything I heard about it is like they're just fantastic. Joaquin Phoenix, Joker, obvious, and then the guy in the Two Popes.
See, I haven't seen the Two Popes in the other one, and
Yeah.
everyone you mentioned, like I don't like them as actors because I could tell they're acting.
Right.
And with these guys in 1917, you can't tell that they're acting. Like, in my opinion.
Well, and I blame Star Wars. No, I'm serious.
Oh, no.
Like, so they snuck 1917 into last year at the very tail end, and they only did it at like one theater in New York and one theater in California to get awards eligible, right? And with Star Wars, Disney, whenever it puts out a big film, it's in their contracts. Hey, if your theater's going to show our movies, it has to be in the biggest auditoriums for 4 weeks.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
Right. And so a movie like 1917, you want it on Dolby and IMAX, the biggest screens
Yeah,
possible.
it wasn't on Dolby.
Yeah, we tried to see it in Dolby today, and we could only find standard showings because Bad Boys and Dr. Dolittle knocked it out, of all things. No offense to those films, they're probably fine, for the people who like them, but 1917, it deserves that big screen.
I agree. I'm agreeing with that.
And the sound and everything.
Oh man, like I jerked a few times. You heard the bullets whiz past you. It was really
Yeah.
strange. The one bullet when he started running down when he went behind the walls.
Yeah.
The walls were like arched, and he ran that way. Well, when the German shot the bullet, you heard it on your right ear, and then zip past your left. And I was like, whoa, you
Yeah.
know, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, 1917 is just a fine film. I don't know more. I mean, I'm hesitant to even talk about it more because, you know, there's such little moments in there that's suspenseful. Like, if you look too closely at the trailer, you can kind of figure out the set pieces that are going to be in the film.
Yeah.
Like, I knew who was going to die at some point. So, yeah. But, and like the very small roles, like they meet like different officials along the way. They got great actors.
Yeah.
Giovanni Ribisi, I think his name is.
That was the general before he made it to, on the truck.
No,
Isn't that the guy from the truck?
No, not the guy from the truck. Giovanni Ribisi. He's the guy, and I mean, he was in Saving Private Ryan. So I can see why DreamWorks would want him
Yeah.
again. So it's funny too. Like DreamWorks is Steven Spielberg's company, and that's who put out this film, along with Universal.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I mean,
Steven Spielberg's always done amazing movies.
right.
Always.
But this was Sam Mendes directed
Yeah.
film. Sam Mendes, known for Skyfall, very beautiful James Bond films, and yeah, I mean, he just knocked it out of the park. Like, my favorite scene is definitely when he's walking through the ruined city, and there's these just flares going on overhead, and all the shadows of the buildings and the ruins are just shifting around him as the flares arc
Yeah.
across the sky. Like, they don't even show the flares in the sky. You just have to infer, oh, that's what's happening. And it's just a gorgeous scene. The music swelling behind it, and he's like dodging bullets and just completely out of it, you know.
And again, it was like you were there.
Yeah.
It was like you were there. It was jump a few times.
So yeah,
Yehudit.
Yehudit said, yes, Geneva, rock that podcast, girl. I will seriously watch every video if you keep doing podcasts. You are made for this. You have a perfect voice for the mic.
Thank you.
Wow, you got a fan.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your support.
Yeah.
I'll be better about announcing who's going to be on the show at what times and what movies we're covering. Birds of Prey, I think, would be a good one to do next.
Ooh.
So
I really want to see Sonic.
we'll do Sonic.
You know what? I can't. I just really want to see Sonic.
Yeah, we'll do Sonic definitely. So normally we're on Sundays, but I mean, if people are showing up on Tuesdays, maybe we'll keep sticking with
Okay.
Tuesdays.
Terrific Tuesdays.
Yeah,
Or
and that
terrible
way,
Tuesdays.
because like we got the Super Bowl coming up, which I very much enjoy, and the Oscars. You know, that's counter program. Like we did a live Oscars thing. I will see Sonic with both of you.
All right.
All right. I mean, yeah.
All right, we're down.
Okay.
We're definitely down. Sonic. I'm just excited because, you know, I'm old and all, and like JJ Fad's song Supersonic made it like, I was like, is this happening?
Watch it's not even in the film.
It's the opening credits. So it was perfect. The Supersonic song. I'm like,
opening credits. Are you sure?
Or, yeah, the very
it's
beginning.
confirmed? Okay.
Supersonic. And it really makes me feel my age. I mean, JJ Fad, and we're here to rock.
All right. So yeah, Sonic's definitely on the docket. Follow us at Post Credit Show on Twitter and Instagram, and I'll keep you guys posted. Usually we give people at least a weekend or 4 days to watch a film, if not a weekend. So
Yeah.
So like, you look at when Birds of Prey comes out, maybe the second Tuesday after, that's when we'll cover Birds of Prey.
Okay.
So people have lots of time to watch it because, you know, we dive into spoilers. Bard Scape said, I'm only in it for Jim Carrey as Eggman. See, I'm so old school Sonic, I think of the villain of Sonic as Dr. Robotnik.
Yeah.
I don't know when Eggman came to the forefront, but like apparently that was his name a lot. It's Dr. Eggman Robotnik, I think is his full name.
But it's Jim Carrey. Like I'm excited for it, you know.
Why didn't they make him shaped like an egg?
I know, right? I still think he did an amazing performance as the Riddler. You know,
Oh
it,
my
it was
God.
just
Oh.
they couldn't have cast a perfect. So, like I said, Sonic, it's different, and I think he's gonna kill it. Even in the Grinch, Jim Carrey did good.
I think Jim Carrey was made for the Joker, but that's just me.
I think so too, but don't say that. They'll
Or what's that magical villain of Superman? Leo Plitzkitz or whatever.
oh, I just lost all my comic book points right now.
Yeah. Well.
I'm not really a DC fan.
Yeah. Well. So let's veer back.
Okay.
Fine film. Please watch 1917
As
in
soon as
theaters.
possible.
I think I'll stick around a little bit longer because it's definitely got that Oscar push. But yeah, a few other movies have to move out of the way to get Adobe. There was a couple theaters that still were showing Adobe, but just odd times. But yeah, let's do Like a Boss.
You might have to refresh me some. I think I saw that, 2 weeks ago. When did we see it? 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, it was a while ago. But Like a Boss stars Tiffany Haddish. And,
My girl.
Oh, what's
She
her-
just had her bat mitzvah. Like on her, I think it was on her birthday or the day after her birthday, something
Right.
along those lines.
But yeah, Like a Boss. Man, I can't remember any of the names. I should have pulled them up.
Yeah, it's coffee. We lack coffee
Okay.
right now.
Simple premise.
It's just Tiffany Haddish. She's funny. She's hilarious. But I will say that when the movie was lame, it was lame. But when it was funny, it was absolutely hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. Tiffany Haddish, for me, I kind of expected more.
Right.
And because I've seen her stand-ups, I've always thought she's funny. And I will say, I believe if Tiffany Haddish would have had the writing ability for her parts on how to react with her character, I think it would have been 10 times funnier. So you can see, like, when someone writes for you and when you're doing your own content.
Yeah, I could see that. And Rose Byrne, like, it's definitely them two.
Oh, they were hilarious together.
Right.
They were very, very cute together. Selma Hayek, I have a crush on, sort of. And she was just hilarious.
Yeah,
She played the perfect, am I allowed to say?
Villain.
Villain, there you go.
Yeah.
Told you guys I wouldn't swear.
Good.
Perfect villain.
We're officially not for kids anymore.
Yeah, but the concept, the concept of what they were doing. So what they were doing is they had this little like hairdresser makeup shop thing, and Tiffany Haddish. What were the characters' names again? I forget. They were best friends for like ever.
Right.
And the business wasn't doing so good.
So Mel and Mia.
So the business wasn't doing very well. And Mel, who is Rose,
Right.
and Tiffany Haddish is Mia, she didn't want to tell her, like, you know what I
Right.
mean, that they were losing money. And then here Salma Hayek comes along and just pretty much rips them off, tries to.
Right. And it's interesting, like the movie makes it like when you're business partners with your friends, like it is like a saying, don't go into business with your friends.
Yeah.
Because when money gets involved, it's
And it focused that well. Did you think
Yeah.
it focused that very, very well?
it's set up well.
It was just like a reality when friends go into business together, because even Salma Hayek said in the contract, what Mel and Mia didn't know is if one of them got angry and walked away, then she got all the money
that's
from
just
the
it.
company.
They knew it was clear in that, but you know, Salma Hayek was like, "Oh, friends will never
Yeah,
last,"
and then she purposely was sabotaging them.
so that she would get control of the company.
Yeah.
But yeah, fun film, lots of funny set pieces. Most of the funny stuff is shown in the trailer.
Yeah.
The one thing that did take me out of the movie, so like, you know, when they finally figure out, you know, she's the bad guy, let's go storm her giant empire. So they get in there and they're like dodging all these security guards, right? Doing all this funny stuff to dodge them and what have you. And so it takes like 8 security guards to like finally get them out, right? And then at the end of the movie, it's the same location, not a single security guard. I'm like, wait a minute.
That was actually my favorite part, because that's such an evil chick move. It's like, oh, not only we outed you on what you were doing, destroying our friendship, we're going to go to your ex-friend who's going to own our company. And it was a really cute movie. I definitely say
Yeah,
that's
very
an
cute.
excellent chick flick. And if you're married and you're mad at your husband, say, honey, either this or make me sandwiches.
Yeah. So, Like a Boss, fine film. Go see it. Jack Rogers, get him to review Goblin. I don't know what Goblin is.
That's a Korean drama.
Okay.
It's actually, oh my gosh. I'm going to say this live.
Okay.
It made me cry a lot. It's beautiful, but in a good way. In a good way. So, long story short, Goblin is he is this like soldier from like centuries ago that gets trapped as this goblin. That's what he is, and his roommate is the Grim Reaper, and they have jobs. And he finds this like reincarnated love. Oh, it made me cry. Like, oh my goodness, I was so embarrassed. I'm yelling at myself. I'm like, toughen up.
Yeah,
toughen up.
Korean films seem to be on the rise. Like
It was pretty good.
how old is Goblin?
I think it's 2 years. About
Okay.
2 years, 2016,
Because
17.
Parasite was this last year.
Yeah, there
so
was-
I think the Korean market's really putting its
I've
stand.
been watching quite a bit. There's this mermaid one. I think it's called the Blue Lagoon or Blue
okay.
Sea mermaid one. But yeah, I'll send you a link so you
And
could.
the only other Korean film I ever saw was Old Boy, but a lot of people have seen Old Boy.
Oh, really?
Love
You would
Old
love
Boy.
Goblin. It's just
Okay.
it's a different take. So
So yep.
That's a good one.
Any last thoughts on Like a Boss before we head out?
no, I just think it's a great girls movie, like chick flick, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a chick flick, but I could see like a bunch of us getting around, doing our
Right.
nails, and eating popcorn, drinking wine.
And as a dude, I thought it was fine. It's like not something I would have sought out, but you were definitely more interested in it.
Because I like Tiffany.
Well,
Haddish.
I like Tiffany Haddish too. I like The Last OG. She does.
Yeah, that one blew my mind too. I was
Yeah,
like,
she's really good in Last
She's
OG.
really good. I also like Melissa McCarthy,
And oh yeah,
so I would only watch movies just to see her because she's hilarious.
yeah, I could see that. And Tiffany Haddish, I think, has that attitude where she does every project she can, and she's just a locomotive of comedy.
Yeah, and she's come a long way. Like I really enjoyed watching her on. I'm going to admit this again, live Wendy Williams show. I watch now.
Oh yeah,
And to hear her backstory, like
yeah. My
heck
mom,
yeah, man.
in particular, loves Tiffany Haddish's backstory, and probably will see anything she's in.
Yeah, and
just
then when I
because of
found
her
out she was
backstory.
Jewish, I was like, "Hey, girl, what's going on?" So that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Jack Rogers. Is
Oh, the
saying-
Deep Blue Sea, the Korean version of the Mermaid Legends.
Oh,
He just mentioned some really good ones. I'm gonna.
I thought he was saying we should do the Deep Blue Sea, the American shark movie
Oh, we can do that.
with Ice Cube, I believe, is in it as the chef.
I don't know. I've never seen that.
It's great.
Isn't that a great look at that? It just is like a boss. If that was perfume, like why can't Dolce and Gabbana come in that? Like it's a
funny.
little grenade.
It was
So
only
cute.
only researching for the show I found that image. If that was more prevalent, maybe the movie would have done a little.
Yeah, it's very cute.
I don't know. But thank you for joining us for our show. We'll let you know when we're gonna do Birds of Prey, but keep at us on at Post Credit Show.
Yes.
And if you want to support the show, if you're thinking about signing up for Uber, there's the code. We also have the code in the description. If you're doing either Uber or Lyft and want to support the show, it helps keep the lights on.
There you go.
But thank you for joining us. See you next time.
Yes. Have a great night.